Yeah.
I think very few people actually fully understand it enough to articulate it, to be perfectly
Exactly.
honest
That's
with
how
you.
I feel.
Yeah, so what is Ascension and what is 5D?
Yeah.
Great.
Wow,
So-
easy question to start.
These are my favorite. I get asked this all the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm like, here's an answer I prepared earlier. Planetary ascension is essentially the shifting of frequency from what we're experiencing right now, which you would call a third dimensional reality, into a fifth dimensional frequency. Now, first and foremost, 5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness. So if I were to answer to the question of how do you know you're in 5D, to me, it feels like a really blissful state of connectedness. That's probably the simplest way to describe it. Now, will there be a tipping point where everybody gets to 5D? Yeah, and all we actually need is 1% of the population. Star Family have been telling me for years and years and years that when 1% of the population is solidly anchoring a 5D vibration, which is that total connectedness, total unified field consciousness frequency, then everyone else automatically shifts into that space. So I'm just looking for my 1% at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, who can I work with to get them up to that level so that they can be anchoring that frequency? Because we just need 1 in 100, really.
Yeah.
I know a group called the 1%ers.
Another Viking.
Yeah.
Are they really?
That's what they get called, the outlaws of 1%ers. But I find that interesting because
There they are now. They're getting chased by the cops.
the label 5D, is that something that you've been told, or is that something that people have just called it? Like they go, what is this feeling? We're gonna label it 5D. Or is it something
Or is it
that's
1D, 2D, 3D, 4D?
Yeah,
There's actually
who's put the
13,
I
yes.
saw your thing about the 13. Who put the labels on it? Does that make sense as a question? Like, what's the,
Oh, yeah.
as a
received-
human,
Yeah.
do we just go, oh, this is first because we don't know how to have words to articulate what it is? Or
No, it's actually very tangible. Well, it is for me. I
Yeah.
know not everyone experiences it this way. For me, each dimensional frequency is a very tangible frequency, and I can easily tell the difference between one and the other. In
So like
saying
looking
that,
at a colour.
it's also, it's actually very much like that. So you know how on the spectrum of waves you have radio waves and microwaves and colours and,
Yes.
like
Yes.
it's like that, except that it's not as linear as soon as you get past 5D, because as soon as you get past 5D, you're no longer talking in a linear spectrum, you're talking in a multidimensional spectrum. But I can give you a basic understanding of it. So there are 13 dimensions in this universe. We are currently in the third dimension, which is everything that's physical, right? Now, the fourth dimension is typically where people first go when they have their spiritual awakening. Now, a lot of psychics, they often tap into the 4D. The 4D is typically characterized by the astral realm. So the astral realm has multiple aspects of duality within it, and actually every single dimension actually has subdimensions. So there are 12 dimensions in this universe, and each of those 12 has 12 subdimensions. So that's where the 144 comes in. And the 13th dimension is actually the 0 point frequency that spirals through all of them.